Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2518: The Great Changes in the World. Li Guangxiao was truly frustrated at this moment. The strength of the East China Sea region was steadily increasing, and Xuanwu was already a superhuman at the level of the White Bishop. But even now, he still feels that his fighting skills are far from sufficient. The deep sea is fraught with dangers, and their small East China Sea region is like a small boat that can be capsized by a single storm. Right now, all we can do is stabilize the situation. But as for the future, I'm completely lost. A leader should not easily reveal their weaknesses to others. Unless, of course, he needs something from someone more capable. Li Guangxiao was trying to gain sympathy from Zhang Yi. The two regions had a good relationship, and Zhang Yi had a lot of interaction with the Donghai region. If Zhang Yi is willing to lend a hand, the crisis in the East China Sea region can be greatly reduced. Very stable. Zhang Yi's lips curled slightly, without directly responding to Li Guangxiao's hint. At the meeting later, give everyone a brief overview of the maritime situation. After that, we'll discuss how to resolve the issue. Then, Zhang Yi inquired about the situation in the Northeast region. Commander Ji and Brother Luya. Hey bro, you're here. The interface in the Northeast is filled with the white light of snowflakes. Ji Changhai, wearing a military overcoat, frowned deeply. This place in Northeast China is really troublesome. The snow line has suddenly moved south at 3 border points, as if someone is playing a trick on us. We have deployed our forces in echelons, and there has been no fighting for the time being. Zhang Yi was quite satisfied. As long as no fighting broke out, that was fine. He didn't expect the other regions to be able to fight against the ancient civilization, head-on like he was. After a call, all the top officials from the 6 regions gathered and arrived within 10 minutes. Even the National Protection Army, which guards the northern border, appeared at this meeting. Commander Chen Xuanba of the National Protection Army wore a black military uniform, with a wide brim covering half of his face, revealing a sharp, stern chin. You could sense a low pressure emanating from him. Zhang Yi glanced at everyone. They were all 3D projections, but the word solemn was written all over their faces. They're all old acquaintances, so I won't waste time with pleasantries. The situation outside is that ancient civilizations are beginning to resurface, and they will inevitably compete with us, the 6th generation of humans, for territory. I believe war is almost inevitable. At the very least, we must be prepared for war at any time. Now, each region, please report on your current status. I'll go first. The one who spoke was Chen Xuanba, who was usually quiet, but today he spoke first, which meant that the situation in the Northern Territory was not optimistic. A flash of light came through the channel of the Northern Border Guard Army, like someone burning oil. Chen Xuanba's voice was low and hoarse. Something has emerged over Fremont. Overnight, the entire border between the two countries was blocked by a blizzard. We observed that large areas within Fremont have been completely frozen. Although we can't confirm what it is, after communicating with the Fremont side, we learned that they are being forced to retreat in the face of that force and are simply unable to resist it. There was a long silence at the scene. Although Fremont's strength is far inferior to that of Huashu Kingdom with Zhang Yi, it is still considered a second-rate country in the world. The fact that they were suppressed like this shows just how powerful the strange entity that appeared in the Northern Territory must be. Thank you for your hard work. Keep a close eye on the developments along the border. Zhang Yi added, don't be reckless, avoid it if you can. I don't think land is very valuable right now. People are the most valuable. Chen Xuanba nodded, lowered his hat brim, and said, of course I know that. Shall Lai. The Northwest region is also close to Fremont. How are things there? Zhang Yi looked at Xiao Lai and asked calmly. The backdrop of the Northwest region is yellow sand and wind turbine towers. Even the huge floor-to-ceiling windows of the conference room are never cleaned and are always dimly lit. Xiaolai chuckled, his voice slightly hoarse. There are people walking in the sand, their footprints deeper than camels. My men say, finally we can get things done differently. But if you say to endure, then I will endure. I'm not asking you to be a coward, Zhang Yi said with a smile and a shake of his head. I just want every battle to be meaningful. The Northwest region can't afford any more turmoil. Xiao Lai's expression changed, showing a hint of helplessness. Of the 6 regions, the Northwest region has experienced the most changes. Li Changgong left, and his current strength is insufficient to support the highest combat power of a region, which is truly difficult. Juegua, Luozhua. How is the situation in the Southwest region? When you align with Barada, you must not only consider the revival of ancient races, but also pay attention to whether your neighbors have other ideas. A damp echo came from the southwest channel, as if there was rain in the distance. The snow mountain is very quiet, but it's not quiet at all. After the Demon Kingdom was destroyed, we encountered some alien races, but we've already eliminated them. Now, the only thing we can do is to stabilize the people's hearts. Zhang Yi nodded. It's good that nothing's wrong. We have a basic understanding of the situation in each region, and thankfully, no war has broken out. Zhang Yi looked around, his tone becoming more serious, yet gentler. Folks, I don't want to make any grand pronouncements during this phone call. I want to make our situation clear. The world has truly changed, not just in the simple way that's headlined, but in a way that's so profound that even the map rulers need to be redrawn. Many ancient races have emerged. Some of them are stronger than us, and some are not. But they have one thing in common. They believe that the ground is their home. He wore a faint smile, giving everyone time to keep those words to themselves. Earth was the home of humanity throughout all their eras. It was just a matter of one generation taking its turn on the stage. And what about us? The total population of our Huashu kingdom is less than 100 million. Even if Earth expands and our territory appears larger, what we can defend is still this small piece of land beneath your feet. If we plant knives in every direction, we will drag ourselves to our death. So the first thing we need to do is put the knife away. We need to close the country's doors, not to close the country off, but to put the decision-making power in our own hands. Any cross-border requests for assistance, troop deployments, or joint operations are to be suspended. It's not that we're being disloyal, but we're not gambling our family's food rations on someone else's future. The second thing is to be on high alert. Safeguard 3 key areas: people, food, and energy. We let the weak hide in safe havens that we can guarantee, such as the underground world of the Wulwan Empire. The Dragon Clan has also promised to support us in critical moments. Food is a given. Everyone has been able to eat their fill these past 2 years. But if things really get chaotic, famine will come again. Therefore, we should consider entering a wartime state and implementing a system of in-kind rationing. Tianhai City doesn't consider this, because they control the population. The entire city has a population of around 100,000, abundant resources, and under Li Jian's management, the Ministry of Agriculture has been storing more and more grain. Chapter 25:19 The Great Changes in the World, Part 2. The third thing is to talk. Talk as much as you can. We don't necessarily have to have all the land. We can give up wasteland, buffer zones, and even the outer edges of some provinces. Pushing the war 100 kilometers away is like saving a city for us. Don't feel ashamed. We need to keep our people here first, so we can have a chance to survive and develop later. He placed his hand on the table, his voice steady and calm. The dragons won't take over this game. I believe in the bottom-line protection the Black Dragons have given us, but I won't expect them to guard every single gate for us. We are the ones who guard the gates. No one on the screen said a word. Everyone is taking notes, drawing pictures, and comparing them with their own geographical maps. Now each district is sending up a list of characteristics of the enemy already seen through an encrypted channel, along with any images that can be captured. Pay attention to 3 words: verifiable. Don't mythologize, don't exaggerate, and don't let rumors ruin morale. These days, Zhang Yi is quite adept at attending such meetings, speaking clearly and logically, and no longer relies on Yang Xinxin to prepare his speeches. The main reason is that he has no psychological burden and has the strength to back him up, so he can say whatever he wants. No one interrupted him. They all listened attentively. Hutu, Yu, and Xidagarba are responsible for creating an overlay map of the geography, underground passages, and resource points. Li Guangxiao prepare the nautical chart. Chen Xuanba investigate the abnormal climate on the border. Xiaolai, Juegua, and Luo Zhua go through the procedures for your evacuation points again. Treat today as a drill. Zhu Zheng, give me a draft of the plan to appease the people, not just a slogan version. I need the kind that can be implemented at the street office level. He looked at each projection, finally stopping at Hutu, his tone softening slightly. Everyone is tired, but I still have to say the same old thing. Today, we don't want anyone to be a hero. What we want is not 1 or 2 brilliant battles, but to bring the country intact into the next year, the year after, and 10 years from now. Huda nodded. Understood. Receive. The group of people responded in turn, and no one raised any objections. Zhang Yi crossed his arms and smiled faintly. All right, that's about all I wanted to say. Everyone, please share your thoughts. Zhang Yi spread his hands, signaling for everyone to speak. The order of speaking is generally based on the strength of the region. After Zhang Yi finished speaking, it was naturally the turn of the Shengjing region. Someng Yuanjun cleared his throat and spoke, his voice low and steady. Gentlemen, an upheaval has occurred. Let's not wait for the storm to pass. Let's first prepare our umbrellas. The meeting has 3 objectives: coordinates, boundaries, and bottom lines. First, report the situation, then determine the plan. Let's start with Shengjing. He picked up his speech, glanced at it, and added, several unidentified groups have appeared wandering around the outer ring of Shengjing. They're scattered in form, including anthropomorphic individuals and aberrant variants. Their energy spectrum shows a high level, but they have not actively attacked. We have sealed off all access routes, and Shengjing City has activated its defensive shield, ensuring no contact with the outside world. Furthermore, prioritizing population concentration will ensure that food and energy supplies are not a problem for the time being, and we can be self-sufficient for 3 years without any issues. Shang Daowen pointed his finger in the air, projecting the structure of the Shengjing City cluster into the air. We have connected the cellars in the old city into a continuous cold chain, and the young and weak have been relocated. The groundwater level is stable, and the granaries have been replaced with smaller chambers to prevent them from being wiped out in one blow. In addition, the first round of knowledge backup has been completed. Within a single day, they had completed all preparations for battle, truly deserving of their reputation as the most powerful region in Huaxiu Kingdom outside of Tianhai. Everyone nodded in agreement, expressing their approval of the Shengjing region. Then, Ji Changhai from the Northeast region took over. In our northeastern region, there have been 3 attempts by spying people to test the border. Luya personally led a team to retaliate, but the other side was only testing us and did not make any move against us. We assigned the core members of the winter training team to various locations for garrison duty, and the villages and towns outside the city were brought back to the urban area. An additional thin air route was added above the snow line to ensure emergency evacuation. Han Shanzwa spoke slowly. We will not initiate an attack, but we will not retreat. The boundary is drawn by 3 lines: mountain ridges, fault lines, and glacial lakes. Any behavior that breaks the rules, such as turning an entire valley into an ice shell, is considered quasi-aggression. We will mark it first, and then report it. When the National Protection Army spoke, Chen Xuanba said in a deep voice, the National Protection Army encountered the ice and snow race on the border of Fremont. It's not an ordinary cold wave, but a regular cold zone. Our reconnaissance posts are frozen on the map. This is not a figure of speech, but the reality. We withdrew, built a fire line, and left a hot needle. If the other side continues to advance, we have a heating plan to raise the ground temperature to a manageable threshold before withdrawing personnel. In the Northwest region, Xiao Lai's statement was more concise. Underneath the Northwest Sand Belt, there is a giant body turning over. The earthquake pattern is different from that of wild animals. It's like a machine rolling 500 meters down. I've kept the border troops stationed on the second line, not advancing rashly. The provisions have been replaced with high-calorie dry bricks, and water is being drawn from underground salt springs. There were no unusual developments in the southwest region, so the two brothers didn't say much. Zhang Yi, recalling the feud between Gao Changkong and Indra, instructed them, "Keep a close eye on Bharata. Gao Changkong has betrayed us." Upon hearing this, Zhu Zheng's eyes widened immediately. "They've betrayed us again? So where is Gao Changkong now?" Zhang Yi glanced at him meaningfully, but did not tell him about Gao Changkong's subsequent movements, because he himself didn't know. Indra is also acting strangely now. He encountered some strange sights while he was on the moon. This guy has a special ability to predict the future, so he's someone worth paying attention to. The two brothers nodded, indicating that they would definitely comply. Next, it was the turn of the Jiangnan region. Zhu Zheng cleared his throat, temporarily suppressing his fear of Gao Changkong. "We have witnessed sightings in both the coastal areas and inland regions of Jiangnan. We are following your training regulations and will avoid contact if possible. Major ports are closed and fishing boats are entering." Blizzard City evacuated 37,000 people into the city in one day, with the pressure mainly focused on food and lodging. As for the sea area, with my brother Chaos here, I feel very reassured. Zhu Zheng looked at Zhang Yi with a smile. Their Jiangnan region and Tianhai City were connected. Today, Tianhai City was more than capable of being a region on its own. With such a good brother and powerful connections, he felt very secure. Following that was a speech from the East China Sea region. Li Guangxiao directly released the nautical chart to the public. Unidentified creatures are roaming the waters near the East China Sea. We will not venture into the deep sea. The entire fleet will return to port, and the underwater vehicles will serve as sentries in the shallow waters. The Xuanwu will guard the outer harbor with a 3-layered denial ring. The pyloric alert of the sea and air radars will be activated, and any suspected alien species approaching, regardless of size, will be marked first. After listening, Zhang Yi nodded, his tone gentle, yet each word was uttered firmly. "Okay, I've received the situation reports from each district. Now let Xian handle the specific arrangements." Zhang Yi was still not very good at arranging specific action plans, so he simply gave Yang Xinxin a look. Chapter 25, 20 The Great Changes in the World, Part 3. Zhang Yi stepped aside, and the camera focused on Yang Xinxin. Everyone became even more focused, because as everyone knew, the strongest warrior in Huaxu Kingdom was Zhang Yi, the Chaos Warrior, and the #1 strategist in Huaxu Kingdom was Yang Xinxin, codenamed the Queen Mother of the West. In the past, through countless battles, Yang Xinxin conquered the entire Huaxu Kingdom's leadership with her strength and action. Yang Xinxin's cool gaze swept over everyone present, and she spoke calmly. "I'll explain the general approach. We'll go over the details one by one later. In terms of principles, the entire Huaxu region should first adhere to a set of 3-word orders: close the gates, shrink the lines, and avoid war. It's not about being afraid of war, but about avoiding pointless battles. We should focus our efforts on things that can yield results." She raised her hand and pulled up a timeline. "We'll proceed in 3 phases. The first phase, lasting 72 hours, is called stabilizing the situation. The tasks are to close the gates in place, recover the population, and establish a chain of urban clusters. All ports of entry will be subject to wartime inspections, and passage will not be permitted unless absolutely necessary. Inland transportation will be changed to direct city-to-city connections to reduce the area exposed to the outside world. The second 14-day period is called weaving the net. It involves weaving the air routes, tunnels, and emergency access points between the cities into a beaded chain, ensuring that if one city is under pressure, at least 3 surrounding cities can be saved. The third 90-day period is called stratification. It's a gradual transfer, first extracting key technical positions, key industries, and the young, sick, and vulnerable, and sending them to the Wulwan underground world in batches. It's not about fleeing. It's about putting a spark into a container and opening the lid when the wind stops. She spoke slowly, like laying tiles under the eaves, especially when it came to transferring some of the spark to the underworld of the Wulwan Empire. The eyes of the high-ranking officials in various regions immediately lit up. They all desperately wanted to get their families to safety. Without a doubt, the underground space of the Wulwan Empire, with its mature urban system and resources of daily necessities and energy, is the best refuge at present. Regarding the specific division of labor, Hutu and Mengyuanjun of the Xinjiang region, you will take the lead in compressing and refining the city cluster model. Treat each city as a gear, eliminate redundancy, and ensure tight meshing. The underground chain approach in the old city of Xinjiang is excellent, and the process will be sent to each region for reference. Guanlongwa nodded. No problem. Jiangnan region. Yang Xinxin looked at Zhu Zheng, and Zhu Zheng immediately straightened his back. You start with the immigration pilot program. Give me the first draft list of 50,000 people tonight. For categories, Vienna City, industry, research, and children, the sick, and the infirm. They will be admitted first. Note that the list is not for connections. It consists of people who can protect the city and those who need protection the most. The people being moved out are not going on vacation. They are going to lay the foundation for our second home program. When it comes to transferring personnel, the Jiangnan region is the obvious first choice, and no one can find fault with that. However, Yang Xinxin still gave Zhu Zheng a special warning. It is acceptable to relocate a small number of relatives, but do not forget the primary task of seeking refuge. Zhu Zheng hurriedly replied, Understood. I'll personally oversee it and send it before midnight tonight. East China Sea Region. Yang Xinxin turned to the nautical chart. The fleet continues its return to port. We will not explore the waters or act as heroes. For any unfamiliar target, we will first gather information, then define it, and only then discuss whether or not to engage it. Xuanwu and Zhuke, you must hold your air and sea fortresses firmly. Even if the alien races intend to invade, they cannot mobilize their entire forces. If you can hold out for a while, maintaining the position until reinforcements arrive should not be a problem. Xuanwu said in a deep voice. Understood. Zhuke nodded. Received. On the side of the National Protection Army, Yang Xinxin looked at Chen Xuanba. Don't touch that cold region on the border. No matter how much Fremont requests for help, don't make a decision to advance on your own. If necessary, abandoning part of the border is acceptable. After all, the territory of Huashu Kingdom is now close to 100 million square kilometers, so we don't need to disperse to various places. Chen Xuanba nodded and said, Understood. Northwest region. She pointed at Xiaolai. We can't be reckless, but we need to keep an eye out for signs that look like human activity, such as the regular movement of the entire sand ridge, which means the construction team has been underground. If we find this, we should mark it first, then assess it, but we shouldn't blast anything down there. We're not going to gamble our lives in unknown strata. Xiaolai nodded, offering no objections. Southwest region. Yang Xinxin nodded to Juegua and Luozhua. Just like Brother Zhang Yi said, keep a close watch and immediately notify all regions if there is any movement. Luozhua clasped his hands together and said, I have noted it down. Yang Xinxin switched the screen to the overall situation map of Huashu Kingdom, her tone unchanged, but she added a little more emphasis. There are 2 bottom lines. Everyone please remember them. First, no external assistance for now. No matter which country comes to beg, even if it's an old ally, hold back. You've all seen the chaos outside. The Abyss Clan, the Skywing Clan, the World Tree Clan, the Sky Clan, the Ironclad Clan. These civilizations can alter the weather, the terrain, and the ecology. Every battlefield is a deep pit. Let's stabilize the boat now and not risk our entire nation to fill an unfamiliar pit. She paused for a moment, then continued. Secondly, the Dragon Clan made a promise. They will step in when it matters most. We don't need to shoulder all the problems ourselves. First, we should defend Huashu Kingdom, settle the people, and then wait for the right opportunity to act. The atmosphere at the meeting eased slightly for a moment, but quickly returned to its previous tension. Everyone knew that the easing was due to someone providing backup, not because the storm had actually stopped. After Yang Xinxin finished speaking, she said calmly, "I have expressed what I wanted to say. You can add anything else." As soon as she stopped, someone asked a question. He is Li Changgong of Gaochen, who currently resides in the Donghai region. He stared at Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin, his eyes gleaming. "You two spoke very well, but there is one point you haven't made clear. Although we will try our best to avoid war, what should we do if we are forced to fight? At that time, should we rescue the other regions or not? We hope that Your Excellency Chaos can give us a definite answer on this matter." His words drew nods of agreement from representatives of other regions. This is actually the thing that everyone cares about most. Everyone knows that Zhang Yi is currently the strongest fighter in the entire Huashu Kingdom, and his Tianhai army is the most powerful combat team. Those 3 super battleships alone are basically enough to sweep across the entire 6 regions. Moreover, there are 100,000 mechanical life forms, not to mention that the superhumans under Zhang Yi's command are also growing rapidly and have astonishing strength. What everyone hopes to get most from this meeting is a promise from Zhang Yi. He will provide support to various regions once a major war breaks out. Only he was able to provide support to the entire Huashu Kingdom in the shortest amount of time. Li Changgong's voice softened. "Your Excellency Chaos, you are the only one capable of shouldering the burden of the Huashu Kingdom in such a difficult situation. We hope you can give us a promise that you will not abandon any region." Here we ends today's chapter. I hope you liked it. Kindly do also subscribe to my gaming channel. I have to Fina a way to survive. Thanks.